This is 365 801, and this is the manga haul for January 2025. So this is the first book and manga haul for 2025. Starting off strong if you want to collect things, starting off very poorly if you're trying to save money and not actually spend and get anything. But you know, it is what it is. The sad truth is I've come to accept that I'm not even a hot mess, I'm just a bit of a mess when it comes to things like this. And it's not like I didn't get bargains. That's the difficult thing for me to wrap my head around. I am obviously going through my purchases for last year and trying to make my videos and stuff like that, which is taking forever because my editing software is playing up massively, which is, so yeah, sorry, it is taking longer to make them. Computer problems. Ugh, Mercury must be in retrograde. But I am going through what I bought last year and being like, wow, I got so many that month. Oh my god, I got so many that month. But also looking at the dates and going, oh, there was like full month periods where I didn't buy anything. But then when I did buy things, they were all bargains. That's the thing. They were good prices for what they are. And once again, January started off. It was actually some of these I purchased right at the end of December in 2024. But obviously they count towards my January haul. They're bargains. They're bargains. What can I say? They were good prices. So I think I've got about 15 BL here, and then one thing to talk about first, which is non-BL. First things first, a non-BL. This is the prose. A Tom Hindle, Murder on Lake Garda, which is, I think, the third Tom Hindle book. I own the first one. A Fatal Crossing, that's what it is. I'm looking on the bookshelf, which I have not read. And this is one of the big things for me for 2025. I really wanted to not actually purchase more things, especially books that are non-BL, because I just want to enjoy reading BL. just want to be a BL person. But I also want to give these ones a go when I see them, and also it does give me a little bit of a purchase boost. So sometimes you just feel like buying something, but if I go online, I'm going to find bargains and I'm going to end up spending 20 or 30 or 40 pounds, and which is great, but then I'm going to have loads of unread things in my collection, and I really want to read things. But if I go into the charity shop and buy something like this, which is like £1, I scratch that itch of purchase. So I come home and I'm like, hi, I bought something, when it's only cost me £1. And I hope I'll be able to give these a go at some point. I do want to try and get my physical TBR of prose down. Even if I read this and DNF it, I feel like that's going to be a good thing. Because then I can get rid of it out of the house and I feel like I achieved something. I decided this is not for me. And at least that's something I can tick off. So yeah. Hopefully, I will be able to read this at some point. It is the third one though, so I'll give the first one a go. And the thing is, if I don't like the first one, I can get rid of this one too. And that would be happy for me. Be a good thing. So yeah, this is something I didn't want to do. I didn't want to add more onto my physical TBR. I'm going to see if I can make a video, but like I said, I've been having issues with my computer, but plans were afoot. They just have not happened. I wanted to film all my physical TBR of prose so that I could maybe make decisions about what to try and read for the year and when. And this, I guess, will just be added to it. It was not something I was expecting to buy, but I did anyway. So let's get on to some BL now. Things that I actually do want to read. Well, maybe. Okay, first things first, we're going to go through some prose. This is the Danme that I've picked up. Case File Compendium Volume 1. I'm quite happy about that. This one was £7.98 from eBay. I actually got it from Momox, so I knew it was going to be in a good condition. I could have picked this up for, I think around the same price, but from somewhere else. But because it's Momox, I know it's going to be in pretty good nick. So yeah, even though this is second hand, I still managed to get it for a good price. £7.98 is really good for, I think, these kind of prose volumes. And it is a volume 1, which means I could start it. But I think we're on like volume 3 or 4 now. So yeah, £10 I think is around a good price, so to get it for less than that I think is quite good. So yeah, I've not read this yet. This is going on my to try and read list for the year. I know it's a bit effed up, but I'm okay with that. I'm gonna give it a go. So yeah, I might read this one first, and then maybe to see if I can collect the rest of them and then binge it all in like a month-long reading. So that kind of thing might be what I end up doing with a lot of these volume ones. I also picked up Remnants of Filth Volume 3. This is obviously a volume 3 and I don't have volume 1, so this just gets put on the shelf, and at some point I will pick up the rest. I managed to get it, I think it was £8.16. Like I said, anything under £10 is pretty good for these volumes. So yeah, I'm quite happy to have one for £8.16. Even if it is a volume 3 and I can't read it for a while. We will slowly but surely pick up the rest of the volumes, and I think it'll be easier for me to get a volume 1 of one of this for a good price. I almost picked up a couple of them, but then they got sold, so unfortunately I just wasn't quick enough. So yeah, I do know that this is also from Meat Bun, so it's probably incredibly heartbreaking. The trauma. So yeah, I'm quite happy that this is a volume 3. It means that I can just put it on the shelf and wait. It's not one that I plan to read anytime this year. Another one that I'm not planning on reading this year is Guardian, because this is also a volume 3. Now I managed to pick this up for £7 exactly, which is really good. This is obviously by Priest. I have volume 1 though, so I could read my volume 1. But it's only a 3-volume series, so I may as well just try and see if I can get volume 2, and then I've got all 3 and I could read the whole series together. So yeah, this is volume 3. I got it for a good price. £7 is really good. Unfortunately, you know, I did like debate, do I want to try and spend extra money and get the special edition, because there is still special editions available, but they are kind of pricey, and it's like, do I want the stuff? Do I care about this story enough? I watched the drama. I loved the drama. It was ridiculous. So I kind of know the story anyway, so it's not a huge priority. And I'm not really that bothered about getting like stickers and things like that, unless it's for a series that I really love. And Guardian I enjoyed, but I'm not sure if like I have the same love and affection. I might feel differently once I've actually read it. And I'm like, damn, I should have tried to get the special editions. But then I wouldn't want to use the stickers and things like that anyway. It would just be like for just looking at and little postcards and things like that. I'm like, do I really need that? I don't put anything up on my walls. So yeah, part of me is like, consumerism, don't need it, but also buying books. Anyway, I don't plan on reading this until I have volume 2. I also picked up Kin Porsche Volume 1, which means I can actually read this. This is by Daemi. And I totally forgot that this was the one that everyone said negative things about. But I only got it because it was super cheap. And now I understand why that it was super cheap. It was super cheap on Amazon, and I was like, wow, cool. Great, you know, 7 Seas title, that's £10.56 from Amazon. £10? Brand new. This is like just come out. I could not understand why, but I was like, I'll buy it. And then when it arrived, I was like, hold on, is this the one? Is this the one? Because there's so many now that's being produced, and I have no idea what any of them are. And I haven't watched Kin Porsche. I don't know the story, but I have read someone on Instagram made a post saying some of the stuff. I'm not, and they were a bit cryptic about it. So in the comments, I was reading stuff in the comments. So I'm not sure exactly, but I think the person who wrote it, the creator, may have been doing like sexual harassment and stuff to the actors of the drama. I haven't watched the drama, so I don't know what the story is. But yeah, that makes, you know, like the whole argument of, can you separate the art from the artist, and the author is dead type thing. I guess with Neil Gaiman we're really having that discussion again, and it really does seem to happen a lot with male authors. It very rarely happens with female authors. Is this author female author? That seems really sus, right? That's not something that usually happens, but it does, apparently. So I want to know more. I think I'm going to have to do some more digging around and find someone who's maybe made a post or, yeah. So it doesn't make me feel comfortable that I purchased it, but at the same time, if my collection is to try and get things that's anything that's BL published in English, even if it is from someone who has a negative reputation, sometimes that's a good thing to have in your collection because it's a discussion point, it's a talking point, but it's also something that is a reflection of the industry. Not a very good reflection, but there you go. So yeah, I'm interested to know what this is about. Should I watch the drama? I feel bad for the actors. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a bit more digging about this. If you know anything about it, let me know. But I'm gonna have to look into this. Um, do I want to continue collecting? No. And I bought it. And I kind of feel bad. Buying things secondhand is always easier, but then someone has to buy it for it to be secondhand. So yeah, I feel conflicted about this. I want to have all BL that's published, but I don't necessarily want to support someone who is a sexual predator. That is something I definitely don't want. So yeah, I kind of feel weird about this. Let me know what you think. And the reason I even bought Kin Porsche is because I saw this first and I wondered why this was so cheap. This was £10.25 from Amazon. Dinghai Fusheng Records, Volume 1, and this is the comic version. So there's a lot of people on the Fei Jiang Yi Jiang Qian Air by an LV Fei. Terrible, I know. I still do not know how to pronounce all of these names, but or even the title. But I did read it. So this is the comic version of a novel which is going to be published. I think the first volume is going to be a special edition one. So I don't know. I might pick that one up as well. I feel like this was entertaining enough, but there's probably much more going on in the actual story. That's the whole thing when novels get adapted. I feel like sometimes the adaptation is good enough, but it's kind of more like an additional one for the people who've already read the novel and know the background. They're like, oh, they cut that bit out, but that bit was funny too. Or there's a joke in here, and I'm like, I don't think I get it, because sometimes the visual comedy for Chinese or Korean or Japanese doesn't always translate over into English, because it's a visual cue. It's a visual comedy. So there's some comedy in here that I'm like, yeah, that was kind of funny, but I know it probably is funnier in its original language, which is a bit of a shame. But I did enjoy it. This was about someone who's like, I want to say like, he has to find someone. So he's on the lookout for this person, and then he comes across the person and they've been like accused of genocide. Pretty bad. Turns out that like there's a war going on. Like, it's complicated. I read it. I swear I read it. And I do have a video. I read it for the weekend readathon with Bazaar and Tony. And so I do have that video, which I was supposed to go up already, but like I said, I've been having issues with the computer, so it hasn't gone up yet. Even though it has been edited, I've had other issues with my computer, so I will have more to say on it, I'm sure, in that video. So I'll check that out for me, because I mean, I read it, I did, I swear I did, and I enjoyed it. So I do want to pick up the rest, and I know volume 2 has already come out. I did think, though, this particular volume, and that's why maybe it was £10, there was some darkness in the publishing, like the printing, and I'm wondering if that was like errors in the printing, and that's they didn't do good enough quality control. Like, I find like Amazon, you should have like, yeah, you gave me a discount, great, but you didn't mention any of that. So if I go into the shop and find another version or another printing of it, and the ink is clean lined, I'm gonna know that the one I've got at home isn't a perfect one, and they just sold it to me anyway without disclosing that, which I think that should be Like Amazon really are just pushing it when it comes to things like that. And I'm like not happy. But at the same time, I enjoyed the story and I got it for £10. So yeah. Anyway, I will pick up more of this. This was fun, and the guy who committed the genocide, he didn't in the end. I'm just like spoiler alert. Although there are some things I don't know about him. It was mysterious and it was fun and it was an adventure. And if this was a live action, I would definitely be eating it up. Very pretty boys, very very pretty boys. Now we may as well continue with the Seven Seas titles. I got Barbarities Volume 3. I got it for a really good price, £7.82 from eBay. This was part of like a bulk buy that I got with an extra discount. For this, I would need to reread, I think, Volumes 1 and 2, because it seems like, even though I just read them last year, I feel like there was a lot more story going on to be able to understand it. And also Volume 4 has now been released, so I kind of want to get Volume 4 and read them. I'm wondering how many. Is there only 4 volumes or is this ongoing? I need to know more about this before I read this volume. If by the end of the year, November time, I haven't picked up Volume 4 and I, will find out more about it, then I will probably just reread Volumes 1, 2 and then read Volume 3 so that I can have this. Because my plan is to read the things that I can read. So technically I can read this. It just means that to understand it and fully enjoy it, I'm better off going back and rereading Volumes 1, 2 and 3. This is what happens when you get old. You end up having to reread stuff to be able to read the stuff that you're buying. Or you save it all up and you can binge read it all, but you never actually get around to binge reading it. I'm looking at you, Hitoriji, my hero. Now that there are box sets of that too, damn it. I want to buy the box sets, but there's no point. I just want the boxes. I don't need the sets. I've already got them. Anyway, maybe next time there's a like Black Friday event or Prime Day sale or something, I'll check it to see if the box sets are good. And yeah, I will need to get a volume 4 of this. But yeah, I will need to read this year. That's the plan. That's the goal. Another one I do plan on reading this year. I plan on reading in June, but the problem is I don't have volume 1. I have volumes 2, now 3, 4 and 5. So I do need to get a volume 1 of Love Me for Who I Am by Kata Konoyama. This I plan to read in June, so I am on the lookout for volume 1 before June so that I can actually read the series. This is on my this is going to be on my TBR in June. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just letting you know. I feel like I need to make the plans for things like that throughout the year, so I'm trying to be more organized. I did get this for a good price. Where did I put it? £6.18. It's not as good as the other prices for what I would have picked it up, because I technically had purchased this last year, but then they didn't actually send it to me. So when the package arrived, there was only 3 in the package rather than the 4 that I'd ordered. So it would have been like, I don't know, £3 or £4 or £5, and yeah, it's a little bit extra. £6.18. But I don't really mind. It's a good quality copy though, so I'm happy about that. And it does add to the series, so I just have one more volume to get and then I will actually be able to read it. So that's the plan. Get volume 1 and read the series in June. Now I do want to read this one, but it is prose and I'm not massively in need of reading it. So this one I don't have any like desperate plans to read it, but I will add it in that TBR video. Hopefully, fingers crossed. This is the novelization of Hirano and Kagiura, and as I have read volumes 1, 2 and 3, I'm wondering how much more I would get from the story by reading it in prose. This is obviously Haruso no Sho, and the novelization is by Hachijo Kotoko. I like these two. These two are cute. So I can see myself reading it quickly, which is easy. So I could probably do that. But yeah, it's not really a huge draw, seeing as the manga I've already read. Anyway, I did pick it up for £7.58, which is pretty good for this. I'm happy about the price, and the condition is really excellent as well. This is like an eBay one, so I did get it secondhand, so happy about that. But yeah, no immediate plans, but I do want to at some point. Now another yen press, I'm going to go through my yen press purchases, is Senpai This Can't Be Love! ! by Shinta Harikawa. This has a second one that's just been released. I can't remember what it's called because it's like it doesn't have like a volume 1, volume 2 thing. Like the title I don't think is exactly the same, but they are like the second volume is like a companion piece to it. So I will have a look out and hopefully get the second one so I can read it. I have read this already. This was the story of someone who worked in like 3D modeling for games and movies and things like that, who has someone who he admired greatly and ends up working at the same company as him, but because he's so shy and so enamored with this person and the work that they did, he feels very uncomfortable being around him. And of course, the senpai of his is like, why won't he love me? I'm trying my hardest. Of course, he's like obsessed with him. So it's kind of a cute little workplace relationship that really they do talk about the actual work quite a lot, which is quite good. I enjoyed it. The artwork is nice, palatable, easy to read, and the story made me laugh a lot. I will read the next one as soon as I get it. Pretty much, it'll be like great. Carry on. I talk about this a lot more in my video. This is one that I have read, so for the weekend readathon, I did read this one. What did I spend on it though? £7.14. I did get the discount, so yeah, £7.14 is pretty good for a fairly new one. So yeah, happy about this one, and yeah, keeping an eye out for the next volume because it was good. It reminded me of a lot of other things, workplace environments and things like that. It's quite good. I will keep an eye out for the next one. Now another yen price one that I didn't read is Manner of Death Volume 2. This is the final volume. It's only a 2-volume series. This is originally by Samon and the art was by Yukari Umemoto. Now I have read Volume 1. I think I read it last March for the March Mystery Madness, and I may as well read it in March again, because I do think I will need to reread Volume 1 to be able to enjoy this and actually understand what's going on. I know it's covering someone who is it's like CSI or what's the British one that had Helen Mirren in it, and it was like Body of Evidence or something like that. Anyway, it's about someone who's a forensic, I don't know, they look at bodies. Somebody looks at bodies in police investigations, and then there's like there's a murder, and then he's having to look into it, and it's like, oh, what's going on? So it's a mystery. Have I sold it to you? Did any of that make any sense? But it's interesting. And there's like a guy who he actually thinks is the murderer, but he also has the hots for him or something. I'm trying to remember because that's what needs to happen. I need to reread Volume 1 to be able to actually understand what's going on in Volume 2. So yeah, I'm planning on reading this in March for March Mystery Madness. I'm going to see if there's anything else in my collection that is a mystery-esque and maybe do a little mystery reading vlog. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I've been keeping an eye out for this copy for a good price for a while, and I managed to get it for £6.15 from World of Books. Now, originally it was £8.80, but because they were doing a buy 3 get 1 free type deal, so buy 4 for 3, I got quite a good discount. So I'm just gonna like average it out and say they're all £6.15. This one would have been £8.80, but I managed to get a good deal, so I think that's quite good. On to the final yen price one. I picked up The Red Thread Volume 1 by Lazy Sheep and Hibiko Haruyama. I managed to get this one in that same deal for £6.15. It would have been £5.30, but this is the one that I got for free. So either it's £0 or it's £6.50. I feel like averaging out the cost is kind of a good thing to do. But yeah, this one I have read. It's only a 2-volume series, I think. So I do, once again, need to pick up Volume 2 so I can continue on. I also read this for the weekend readathon. I did enjoy it a lot. This is a kind of cute reincarnation type story about a guy who kind of just instantly has a connection with someone at university. He's a first year and the other guy's a little bit older and he's in the swimming club, and they just instantly hit it off, and he feels very, very much connected. We know because this first volume starts off with um, their previous lives and the tragic ending to their previous lives. So it's quite violent and it's quite sad how it starts. So I could feel like people would want to be maybe not read this, be put off by that first chapter. It's kind of a bit really sad and also quite shocking. And I was like, what am I reading? But I can also see that a lot of people have enjoyed the story for whatever reason. For me, it was the cuteness of the characters, the sweetness of their instant love, which I don't like. I don't like instant love, but because it's fate, because it's, the red thread, that these two people can have that connection. I can accept that in the story because it's not just insta love or insta lust. It's fate. It's written in the stars. They're meant to be together. They are twin souls. All that kind of nonsense. I much prefer that than insta love. But yeah, so I really enjoyed it. The artwork is very interesting, easy on the eyes, and the story so far has been quite good. I would very much like to pick up volume 2 for a good price. I will keep an eye out and then be able to finish this series, because I do think it's only 2 volumes. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. But yeah, check out the video. I probably talk more about this. Now, another one that I read for that video was Delivery for You by Teku Rin. This is a Tokyopop one. I also got it in that deal. So it was £6.15. Originally it was on World Books for £7.90. So I do think I picked some good ones and I got some good discounts. This was one that I had actually already read digitally, because I do have a digital copy of it. So I did want to just pick up a physical, and I could have I've decided, like, if I pick up a physical of something I've already read digitally, I don't necessarily need to read it. It's not like I need to read it, especially if it's a manga. It's like I'm just picking it up for the collection, so it's more of a collection book than it is for a reading book. But I still wanted to reread it. I couldn't remember what it was about, so I wanted to reread it. And the main story, because there's 2 stories in here, the main story is following someone who kind of feels like they're not in the right place in their life due to whatever their circumstances are, but someone who's just doing a good job in the jobs that need to be done. And it really did remind me that the people who keep the country going and the people who keep the life ticking over are the ones who are more important than the politicians and the CEOs and me being a bit socialist. This is a socialist manifesto to be a BM one. Someone who delivers things, they were the frontline workers. They were the the most important people in the pandemic. So I feel like this is kind of a socialist manifesto about how important it is that they deserve love too. And it was cute and I loved it. I really did enjoy it and it was emotional. So yeah, Teku Rin. I think I felt like that the first time, which is why I was like, did I like this? Did I like this? And I did enjoy it. They're kind of cute together. He's kind of a himbo, I'm not gonna lie. The delivery guy is a bit of a himbo. I love that for him. Empty head, no thoughts, but great bod. And I'm like, good for you. So yeah, Delivery for You. Actually really happy to have this in my collection. So another Tokyopop. The rest are all Tokypops. Let's go through them. Now this is another one that I read for that video, and that is Star-Crossed Volume 1 by Crimson Chains, which I'm guessing is like a webcomic so it's full colour, which is why it's been so expensive. Everywhere I saw it was so expensive. So the fact that I got this for the same deal, £6.15, it was £7.90 just like Delivery for You, and I managed to get it with that discount. So £6.15 I think is pretty good, because it's on sale for like £16, so like 10% discount, nice. And it's in excellent condition. It is a little bit bobbly, but that's because I read it. So, and full color, so really good. It's an interesting one about constellations. There is royalty and like the Black Guard, and so yeah, it's the king and his right hand man who protects him, his bodyguard, and their relationship, and a little bit political shenanigans of someone who is itching for the throne. It's really interesting the way it was artistically drawn, and the color palette, everything about it was really quite fun and engaging. And I didn't think I would enjoy it because it definitely has that sort of more graphic novel type feel to it than manga or even webcomic manhwa, that kind of thing. Um, but I kind of like that it was a bit different. So yeah, this was a pleasant surprise. I should put this down. It's a pleasant surprise for this. I guess because I had expectations that I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, and I was pleasantly surprised, and therefore, yeah, this was one I think is a good one. I will look out for volume 2 when it gets released, if it gets released, and try and pick up as well because yeah, it's definitely worth it. I think giving it a go. If you're interested in BL, this is a slightly different, visually slightly different one, and I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, on to the last two, I think. This is Lullaby of the Dawn by Ichika Yuno. Volume 1, I think there's like 5 volumes now, is there? Oof. Lot to collect. But I did get this for a good price. This was, oh, actually, it's not that great. It's an okay price. Was it £8? £8.24. Well, that was an okay price. Not the best, but it's in pretty good nick. And I have realised, because I thought there was dirt on it, I was like, oh no, it's not. It's actually just, that's the way it's been designed. He's like got water or droplets, that's what it is, on him. I thought someone had spilled something on the cover. No, it's meant to be like that. So yeah, £8, that's not the best price. It's not the best price. £8, but I still got it for a discount. So that's after the discount. It's in excellent condition. Excellent condition. And I was planning on reading it if possible during the weekend readathon, but I ran out of time. So I will have to add it to my TBR pile for the year. I may have a volume 2 on the way, so that would make me want to read it more. So maybe this is a February read. Fingers crossed this is a February read. I kind of feel like this, I'm going to have to just try and work out when I can read things. And I feel like if I get volume 2 in the next month, then I should try and read them both together. And even if there is 4 or 5 volumes, I'll try and see. But yeah, I did keep an eye out on for some of the newer ones. It's nice to pick up a lot, and I did pick up so many Tokyopop last month that it's nice to pick up a few more. It feels like this it feels, because it's so close together, it feels like I'm in a real Tokyopop mood, but I've not been reading them, so I need to try and read them. So yeah, this is one last one to go. And this is really what I'm meaning when I'm saying I'm not reading them, unfortunately. Whales of the Bound, Beta, Volume 2 by Keri Kusabi. That's probably just as well, actually, because I picked up last month Whales of the Bound and Whales of the Bound Beta Volume 1. So I now have 3 volumes of this series. I feel like I remember when this came out. This is like one of the first. There was a whole bunch of Omegaverse ones that came out really when it first kind of became a thing in Japan, and I feel like this is one of them, like proper full of angst and sexual assault and nonsense. And I feel like that's what this was. I feel like this came out around like was I in Japan at the point? So yeah, this kind of makes me feel like this is like really old style Omegaverse, which is a weird thing to say because Omegaverse in my head is also fairly new in the whole grand scheme of BL as a history. Omegaverse is a fairly new thing, but when I think about it, actually, how long ago was it when we had Sachimo's Kashikomari Destiny? I want to know, like, what was the first, when did it come over? I'm trying to remember when Omegaverse first hit Japan as a thing, and I feel like it was a particular publisher kind of found it and was like, hey guys, I want you to start producing manga in this universe. And they all had the same first 2 or 3 pages that explained what Omegaverse was, and now we don't need it. We all know that those first few pages were really important at the time. So yeah, Whales of the Bound. I now have another one. So I don't know how many volumes. I'll need to check this out. I'm pretty sure this was the one that I was annoyed at. I was annoyed at Futekia because they put a couple of, like, they gave you, if you were on the subscription, you could read the first volume, but you couldn't read the next volume without paying extra for the points. Which I find that's really inappropriate for a company. Like, hey, here's half a story. We're not going to let you read the rest of it unless you pay as extra. Like, no, thank you. It's another reason why I don't have Manga Planet anymore. We'll see if they do a good deal, but I haven't seen a good deal for a while. And they haven't really been adding too much to their... that was another thing I did last year. I checked the subscription and how many volumes were added. I kept doing that throughout the year before October, which was when I gave up my subscription. And they had only added on like 4 or 5 volumes for old things. They hadn't added anything new for subscribers. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you're losing subscribers in the Futekia side of things. People who are just the BL ones. I think I wonder if they're making a profit anymore, because it was Futekia that was really keeping them going. So anywho, I now have them physically. Yay! So I can read them, even though I'm not really sure if I want to. It's like tragedy Omegaverse isn't my favorite Omegaverse. I like the fun, silly kind. So this is everything that I got for BL related for the month of January 2025. So yeah, 15 volumes, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, 15. So if I was to go by previous year's standards and say my maximum aim was 7 volumes, I've already gone over double the amount. So yeah, I feel like I should just stop that. There's no point in having a goal if you're gonna miss it every month. So I'm not gonna. Stop putting things, restrictions on you, if you're just gonna be disappointed in yourself. I don't want to feel disappointment in myself, I'm fair enough, disappointing, someone else disappointing you, you're like, okay, my expectations of them were too low. But to have low expectations of yourself and to still be disappointed, I feel like maybe I should just be kinder to myself. The reason I get these, the reason I spend this money, the reason I purchased these, they're all bargains. They were great bargains. And that's my whole point. I'm just trying to get things for a good price. I want to get all the BL printed and I want to get it for a good price. Let me know about the Kin Porsche thing though. What do you think? Are you going to get it? Should I just just not bother with any next volumes? I feel like I need to know more about it. And also, what is Seven Seas playing at then, if that's the case? But yeah, let me know. What do you think about any of these? Have you read them? What do you think of them? When should I read them? I'm trying to decide for my reading plans for the rest of the year. So yeah, and can you think of any other BL mysteries that I could read in March? Maybe make a sort of TBR up for March. I'm going to be on holiday for quite a bit of it, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, this is everything I got. Hold on, totally forgot. This is the non-BL that I got. It's quite shiny. It's gold. But like I said, if I read or try to read the first book and I do not gel with it, then they're both going, which is good. But yeah, this is everything I picked up for the month of January 2025. Let me know what you think. I'd like to know your thoughts on any of these. Yeah, it's quite a lot. I'm really skewing towards Danme, and you know what I'm reading at home right now in my spare time? Webcomics. I buy all this and I get webcomics. That's what I spend my time doing. Anyway, it's a good old haul. I'm happy with it. Let me know what you think. Take care, guys. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.